Hi, this is Eric Martin with Board Game Geek. I'm here with Max Michael from StrataMax Games, looking at Airborne Commander.
Airborne Commander. This is our solo paratrooper prototype by Aaron Lauster. And when he sent it to me, I was like, sure, a solitaire game. You just turn over the cards and do what it says, right? And he's like, no, actually, read the rules and play it through. And I was very pleased. It's got a lot of decision points in it, and a lot of things you have to decide what to do. It's not always really clear what you should do. And so instead of turning over a tile or a card and just seeing what happens to you in sort of an adventure setting, you actually have decisions to make in a tactical and strategic way.
So what's the setting for, I mean, obviously we're the commander, or are we actually jumping?
We're the commander, and it's Normandy, and the goal is gather up your troops, but you also have to fight the Germans along the way. And the trick being this solo deck building game. So you start with your hand of a lieutenant and a bunch of paratroopers, but you also have these disorganized cards. If you collect too many disorganized cards throughout the game, you lose. Right? So that's the losing condition. And the way it goes is you start with your deck, you shuffle it up, and you're going to deal yourself 4 cards from your deck. And of course the disorganized cards just take up room in your hand and they're not good for anything. So I've got a bunch of paratroopers and a corporal, so that's pretty lucky. But I know next time it's going to pretty much stink. So now I've got to decide, how do I use these folks? Do I use them to fight the Germans? Because if I fight the Germans and win, I get points. Or I keep them from giving me more disorganized cards if I fight them. Or do I use them to recruit more folks from the drop zone? So there's a decision point right there, fight or gain more folks. But every unit that I don't fight from the Germans will give me another disorganized card. So when I start with 3, I get 10, I lose. So disorganized cards are bad.
Okay. So you can't just ignore them. But of course, if that's the only thing you do, then
you're not going to help yourself on the drop zone either. Right? So you've got to be able to get your deck better, because this starting deck isn't going to get you through much. Okay, so you've got to decide how to split your resources, just like an Airborne Commander. You guys go fight them, hold them off. You guys go round up some more guys from the drop zone. So in this case, I've got 4. I'm going to send
4 fighting power.
4 fighting units here. So I've got, they're worth a firepower of 1. So in order to beat this one, I'd have to have a firepower of 4. I'd have to use all my cards to beat that one and get a point for taking it out.
Because you have to have more.
Okay, just good. Right? But I don't have more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fight this one. Since it's even, I don't get a disorganized card. Okay. All right, so this goes here, and this goes back in my deck to be shuffled up again. These 2 keep this one off my back as well. Okay, all right. So this goes away, this goes away. These aren't unit cards, so they're not going to cause me to be disorganized, but I did not have all the units engaged, so I can't take the causeway. I can't take the objective for 2 points. Okay. So this guy was not fought, or we lost that fight, so I have to take a disorganized card. Okay, and it goes in my deck. So it's going to keep taking up space in my deck, and it's 1 more towards me losing. Right. But I've used my corporal. I said, corporal, go back to the drop zone and get us some more help. So the corporal has a Pathfinder value of 1, so I can look who's got a shoot with just a 1 on it. So that's how many resources I use. So I can get another paratrooper, and here it goes back here. Right? So this round's over, these go away, and now I take a look here because I get to turn over some more cards in the drop zone. But if there's more than 2 here, I have to decide which one to get rid of. Okay, so now there's a tough choice.
Which is good and bad.
Which is good and bad. But because I'd like to keep this one out, because it's a beacon, it lets me get a lot of points, lets me get 2 cards instead of 1 from the drop zone, and it gives me a power of 2 for each of those cards that I want to get. Right? But it's going to cost me 4 to get that, and my hand's not really built to get 4. Although I really love this one, I'm not going to have enough money or enough power to get it soon, so I have to let it go. And that really hurts to let that go. But I'm leaving these 2 here, and I draw 2 more, see what I have. I got another paratrooper. I've got offshore bombardment by the Navy. All right, that's going to be a 5. Now I've got Pathfinder is still here, and more paratroopers are still here. So now I turn over 4 more German cards. Tanks are bad. Paratroopers don't come with a whole lot of heavy weapons, so fighting tanks is tough. And I deal myself out some more cards, and here comes those disorganized cards. Right, so it's going to be a bad hand for me. Now I shuffle these up and draw another one. Okay. So I already know it's going to be tough because I got 3 disorganized cards in my hand, so somebody's going to get unfought. And we'll probably pick up another disorganized card. So I pick up another one. It's a 1. Okay. So these are of no use. I've got one lonely paratrooper out here. So it's tough early on. All right. So what am I going to do with my one paratrooper? Well, I can keep these guys off my back so I don't get another disorganized card. That'd be good. I can't do anything with the tank, so I'm going to get one of these. I can't get the artillery battery because I don't have any cards left to go take it. And flooded fields is going to mean if I had anybody left to go get stuff, they'd have to just get people, no anti-tank guns, no special weapons. Okay? Because the fields are flooded, it's hard to drag them out of there. So that's the end of that hand, and we hope for a better round next time. So you play to a certain number of points, 12 or 15. If you get that many points, then you win. Or if you end up with all these disorganized cards in your hand, and we're halfway there, all right, we're going to lose. So you've got decision points on what do I take from the drop zone and what do I leave behind hoping I can get it. How do I fight the Germans with what I have? Do I use all my guys to fight to keep from getting disorganized cards? Do I use my guys to fight to get points? Or do I use their Pathfinder ability to get better cards in the future to use them later on? So we've got all these decision points throughout the game that are up to you as the solo player. So the cards don't just come out and tell you what happens. It's not automatic what happens. You have to make some tough choices along the way.
And what are you doing with development? Like, where are you in the process of development, I guess?
To sending this out to blind play testers. If anybody's interested, they can give us an email and give us a short resume of all the blind play testing you've done in the past. And we've got to make sure that
look for Max Michael on the Geek.
Max,
send him a note.
Max, that'll work. Yeah. Look for me on Geek Mail, and that'll be fine. But we've got to wonk the math a little bit, make sure the game's not too hard, doesn't go too long. You have a reasonable chance to win, but not too easy.
I heard Matt Leacock, the Pandemic designer, was saying 30%. That was his goal with Pandemic, is 30% wins, because it has to be tough enough that you think you're going to lose, so you're pretty much always on the edge. Yes. So, but 30% was sort of his. It's like, that's okay.
That's interesting. 30%. I was going for 50% because I'm a sissy and I like to win.
That's why we play Airborne Commander, because I'm a sissy. I don't think that's
not a selling point.
That is not a blurb quote to put on the box.
Not a good one? No, okay. Well, 30% then, because that's probably about the casualty rate for these guys. So there you go, historical accuracy.
All right, thanks for the overview, Max.